this nerd shit I got going on, so I might be lagging. It's saying that I'm lagging. I need to stop messing with stuff. Alright, we should be cool now. I got an ear infection, so I can't really hear too well. So if I'm yelling, I'm probably yelling. Let's turn this down. So shit's kind of fucked up over here on my end. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. I was actually supposed to do this video or this stream like a week ago, but it's been a lot of shit going on. So in this next hour, we got a lot to cover. Most importantly, people have been getting on me, harassing me in the comments and shit. Telling my son, nigga, you scared. Like, you don't want to look bad. Where's your Fury video? Keep that same energy. What energy? No, it's not earwax. T-Street don't tolerate waxy buildup. The Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro. Again, the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro, I have an allergic reaction from the silicone ear tips. So they fucked me up real bad. So, you know, just all on this side, just, it's pain. So I'm kind of hopped up on marijuana and prednisone. And, yeah. So anyway, I don't even know where to begin. You know, I'm kind of pissed off at myself because I probably lost like $500,000 because there was 2 cards I was supposed to cover on Friday night. I was supposed to cover BKFC, the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship with Paige Van Zandt and Lord, I forgot the chick's name. Rachel Ostovich and Blueface. Yesterday, I barely made it through the Joe Joyce card. Yeah, this shit's fucking me up bad. Like I'm having some issues. You mind? You guys mind? Let's see here. You mind me? It's completely legal, medicinal. It's just that I'm in a lot of fucking pain, man. So yeah, I am going to be back full time this week, though. I don't give a fuck if I'm sick or not. The problem is we don't have any really fights of marquee value until what, August the 14th with Rigo. I think Rigo gonna get his shit pushed in by Casemiro. I think that's going to happen. I was at Rigo's last fight in what was that? Reading or Allentown? I think it was Allentown of all places. You know, Allentown, that shit, they stuck in a time warp. They even got a White Castle. I know I keep bringing that up. And what else? And then the week after that, of course, is Pacquiao versus Spence. September is shaping up to be really, really, really seductive and lucrative. September's looking really good. And October, when Fury versus Wilder 3 is going to happen. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I was making sure I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I've said it plenty of times before. You know, I'm a Deontay Wilder guy. However, I don't suck his cock. Sorry, I was trying not to curse during the Sunday service. You know, damn, blew it. Well, anyway. It's just that the same with all fighters. Okay, let me give you a little bit of a story here. I've told it many times on YouTube. I don't give a fuck who win or who lose, because if somebody loses on YouTube, that's bigger talking points. It's like when somebody loses that's not supposed to lose, or somebody wins that's not. If any type of controversy happens, we talk about it. My stream is fucking up. What is it? So I've been experimenting around. I'm trying to go full HD. I have all the technology. But it's something in here with like the bit rate or whatever. Am I lagging? Let me check real quick. I don't know what's going on, but it's pissing me off. So I've been really, really working behind the scenes, if you dig. Let me see something. I'm going to go full HD. Let me see here. Let me check something out. Don't mind me. Yeah, I'm lagging. What the hell is up with that? It's always something, I tell you. It's always something. So I gotta fix this. Nah, I got some lag in here because I'm seeing it pop up. So anyway, as I was saying, Somebody wins, somebody loses. I really don't be giving a shit. You know, I do have a special kind of place in my heart for Chavez Jr., Adrian Broner, Tyson Fury. Who else? Sergio Martinez, he's still kicking around. He's about to fight Brian Rose next month in September. I've purchased his last 2 pay-per-views. Chris Algieri has a very, very special place in my heart. But overall, it's clear as day. The Fury Wilder buzz is not there. Like, you don't hear people talking about it, and the mystique of Deontay Wilder's gone. Now, don't get me wrong. I got a deep, dark-ass feeling. I think that Tyson Fury might get knocked out. I said it. Yo, that power ain't no myth, man. And also, I like Malik Scott. He broke my heart a few times. You know, with the Derek Chisora debacle, the flop. You know, but overall, you know, I like Malik Scott. He just want to sell cigars and sleep with BBWs and do softcore porn on Instagram. I don't go to his Instagram page no more. I don't, no way. Nope. He'll be like butt ass, naked asshole all on the carpet. Ugh. But yeah. Yeah, it's my bitrate settings or something. I've been really trying to, you know, go the whole full HD thing. But I think that, listen, if you really want my genuine thoughts, Fury versus Wilder on pay-per-view, yo, I don't think that shit's going to do well, man. Streaming, especially over the pandemic, is becoming easier. That shit's in HD now, bro. It's too late. It's too late. And then they got these, we got pay-per-views every month. Like, for example, August, Pacquiao versus Spence. September, Canelo versus Caleb Plant, which we're going to talk about later on in the video. October, Fury versus Wilder 3. People not doing this shit every month. So, I believe the pay-per-view is going to do somewhere around 500, 800,000. But with these fighters guaranteed so much money, they had to reset. If the fight would have been last night, I don't think that shit would have been doing real well. You know, tickets. The scene is changing, bro. Even Dana White just a few weeks ago at a post-fight press conference, was it McGregor and Poirier 3? He was talking about how, like, listen, streaming may be the future. I'm talking about, like, getting on the streaming service where people are paying a monthly fee compared to paying $75 fucking dollars a month. And from what's been floating around in the industry, is like the shit's pay-per-view, man. They trying to get away from it. They're trying to find ways. But the pay scales in boxing are, you know. By the way, some news. I'm currently in training. I don't even know how to describe it. The WBC is launching a 24-hour boxing network. TstreeT's been recruited. And my content is going to be featured on the channel. Certain stuff that's going to be exclusive to the channel. And I got a lot of shit on my plate. You know, so everything's supposed to be in full HD. That's what I'm working on now. We're going to be getting to events. You know, we're going back to interviews. And now, with the interviews, we get to jump the line. Because, well, listen, we putting it on the WBC channel, so it's a lot going on. So it's an amazing opportunity. I'm happy to be involved, but one thing T-Street ain't going to do is do no shilling. I made sure when we talk, Andres, if you're watching, I know you probably are, whoever, Dana, I made sure that we talk, Danny, my bad, Danny. But I made sure that, like, listen, you know, I'll tone down the cussing. I'll tone down the off, you know, color humor, like saying, you know, a bundle of sticks, faggot. All right, let's get that out there. You know, faggot means bundle of sticks. Look it up. So we can't, of course, we know better. We can't say stuff like that. You know, I'm not going to be calling people niggas, you know, like bitch ass nigga, you know. So, but overall, you know, you're going to get pretty much the same content, except, you know, more mainstream, toned down. Because TstreeT's too hardcore. Simple as that. And people, they don't be ready for my content, yo. It's too hardcore. But I'm not going to do no shilling because I am upset and I would love and can't wait to talk to Mr. Mauricio Suleiman, sir. I can't wait to talk to him. Because I want to know, listen, how can Ryan Garcia come back? It's like, all right, mental health. All right, cool. All right, listen, T-Street, you know, we're not messing with that. But it's like, yo, Jojo Diaz and Devin Haney need to fight. Like, you know, like, why is this interim belt being defended? You see what I'm saying? Like, this interim belt been bouncing around for a good, what, year now? Year plus, maybe? Like, nah, bro. Nah, I'm not trying to hear that shit. Year, I think it's been about close to. I'm not trying to hear that shit. So anyway, moving on. That's pretty much what I've been doing all week. You know why? I just like, you know what? It's no Fury versus Wilder this week. So I said, I'm just going to focus on my shit in the background. And even now, as you can see, I'm still lagging. So I had the sweet spot. My last stream, everything was going smooth. And I did something this morning and I fucked it up. And I got to stop cussing. You really do got to stop cussing. Or at least slow down. I got to turn it down a little bit. So yeah, man, I don't think Fury had no motherfucking COVID. And if he did, they probably was like, yes, let's milk this shit. Because this pay-per-view is fucking going to flop. Am I lagging bad? What's going on? Am I lagging? What's going on? Am I lagging? Damn, I'm going to fix this, though. This is going to be corrected. This is like on my goal today. So, yeah, I got some new monitors. I got a GoPro camera. I got a new iPad. I got like all these gadgets. New lighting is coming. It's a whole bunch of shit going on, man. But if you don't know, Fury vs. Wilder 3 is going to take place October the 9th on PBC, on Fox, pay-per-view, and ESPN. You can buy it on either platform. If you want to watch it on ESPN Plus, fine. You want to watch it on PBC, on Fox, that's fine. I believe, it hasn't been announced yet, but they're going to merge the broadcasting teams like they did before. We can expect for it to be $74.99. The undercard is going to feature Robert Helenius versus Adam Kownacki 2 for that bullshit WBA gold belt, whatever the... Don't get me started on the WBA. They make me sick. Don't get me started on the WBA. They sicken me. They make me sick. What else? Efe Ajagba versus Frank Sánchez. Ooh, I like that fight. Is it just me? I like that fight. Helenius versus Kownacki 2, okay, but I'm really looking forward to Efe Ajagba versus Frank Sánchez. I like that shit. And then you have Big Baby Anderson taking on, I forgot who. Oh shit, at 1080p you do lag. Yeah, see? Yeah, what is that? I had the sweet spot at the Rigo versus Casemiro virtual presser. We full 1080p, no lag, and now like I don't know what's going on, so I gotta fix it. I was messing with some shit. And I shouldn't have been messing with it. You know, so I kind of messed things up a little bit. You can't change it in stream. Let me see if you can change it in here, man. They ain't gonna let me. Bastards. Yeah, I was trying to hold me back. So yeah, it's been a lot going on. It's been a lot going on. But to be honest, I'm still going to go 50-50 for Fury versus Wilder 3. I'm not confident that Fury can, like, listen, you can still run into that shit. Even though he survived some tough, close calls with Deontay Wilder in the second fight, you know, he ate some shots. But, like, yo, you can't count on that. And then the first fight, he was damn near dead. Jack reset it himself. He was just, like, in like a daze. And then Jack reset it. What'd he say? He said, I got the 5. And then Tyson Fury just woke up like, oh, shit, what the fuck? Oh, shit, I'm down. You know? But he was, like, gone. Like, if you look at that shit.
How dare you?
Greta.
Dice Flawless has just donated $2.
You sicken me. Porter will be Crawford's PBC debut.
It could be. It could be. It's some interesting stuff right there, bro. It's some interesting stuff right there. And then the fight would have to happen in October. And then you would think it would be pay-per-view. Yo, it's some interesting shit right there. But I believe if that fight were to happen, it would be November. And they're probably trying to work on it now. But PBC, Al Heyman just don't fuck with the WBO. In fact, let me pull up something right here for you. I'm going to pull up something for you. Yo, but anyway, if I'm yelling, I can't hear out of my left ear. It's fucked. It's fucked. So, I'm hoping it ain't no serious shit. You know, I got fucking badass health. I hope it's nothing serious. Because I woke up like, what the fuck? I couldn't hear. I was freaking out. Hold it. Wait. What was I doing? Damn, I'm high as a kite. All right. There we go. Oh. WBO. Paco. How you spell that dude name? WBO Paco some shit. Valcaricial something. Who was the dude that, oh man, I'm supposed to know this stuff. Who was the presidential candidate dude that died? What was his name? The WBO president tried to rat out Al Heyman for the Muhammad Ali Act to the dude. What's the dude name that died? John McCain. Hold on, I'm going to pull some shit up for you. I got some shit for you. I covered this story years ago. I covered this stuff years ago. He was pissed because he was pissed that Peter Quillen had dropped his WBO belt. And he was like, yo, what the fuck? I'm not trying to hear this shit. Yo, John McCain, you gonna do something? Hold on, I'm trying to pull up this tweet. Yeah, he ratted out Al Heyman. Well, anyway, years back, Austin Trout was ranked very high by the WBO. And mysteriously, he disappeared. Here we are. I found it. And he disappeared. Here, let's go over here to this screen. Maybe this will slow down the lag. Let's see this tweet. So listen, he tweeted this years ago. September 19th, 2014. Let's go zoom in. As the advisor figure gains prominence, it is imperative that the laws that govern boxing define its limits. Senator John McCain. But this was back in 2014. Senator Reid, time has come to amend the 1996 Boxing Safety Act to define advisor figure, establish limits and function. It was another tweet though, but basically PBC and the WBO, they've been beefing for a little while. Remember when Floyd Mayweather beat Pacquiao and he didn't pay the sanctioning fees, he burned them? Also, the WBO did some shady shit to Austin Trout and removed him from the rankings when it actually, if things would have went to plan and he would have stayed in the rankings, it should have been Canelo versus Trout 2 for that WBO title instead of Canelo versus Liam Smith. You know, go look it up. I forgot the whole situation, but I did cover it back then. So if you notice, PBC fighters, historically, since PBC's inception, they've stood away from the WBO, especially since Peter Quillen had dropped his belt. And mind you, Peter Quillen has never been the same since then. So now, with this WBO ordering Terence Crawford, PBC is probably like, yo, who the fuck are you? Like, you know? And Al Heyman fights don't be going to purse bids, yo. So what he could do is put up so much money where, this is a possibility, where Terence Crawford would have to come over to PBC, even though the rules would state that Terence Crawford gets 60, Porter get 40. He can have promotional rights to the fights and possibly entice Terence Crawford to come over to PBC, especially since it would be his last fight with Top Rank in October, if I'm correct, right? That's what's been going around. But for it to go to a purse bid and for, I see what they're trying to do, because if Sean Porter don't take it, then it's like, what else is he doing? I mean, do you think Keith Thurman, after a 2+ year layoff now, as of what, last week, it's a 2+ years, do you think, wait a minute, when did he fight? Yeah, 2+ year layoff. Do you think that, him versus Sean Porter is a realistic, fight? You would think that Keith Thurman would want some type of comeback fight. And let's not forget, when was the last time Sean Porter fight? That was before the Spence accident, so that was September. So basically, are both of these guys, Keith Thurman and Sean Porter, coming on 2-year layoffs? And did you notice that pattern a lot with PBC fighters coming up with big fights, win or lose? Currently going on with a guy like Leo Santa Cruz. We don't know when he's coming back. They go on these long-ass layoffs? I understand they command a lot of money, but it's like, they'd rather sit than go at least try to get some money from another promotional organization. But I get it. It's the politics of the sport. I'm not going to act like, I haven't been seeing this shit and this shit ain't been going on for years. You see what I'm saying? So who am I? But yo, my ear's killing me. So I'm going to stop complaining about it. It's crazy. So in regards to Caleb Plant and Canelo, shout out to Caleb Plant. And Canelo, for where did that story come from? Is it The Athletic? Let me go check. Canelo. Because that's the rumor, and I haven't been really following boxing. For him to be fighting Caleb Plant for $50 million, but if they got the money to spend it, shit, Fox, they want to put all that promotion behind it. I'm cool. I love Fox events, to be honest with you. I love the shoulder content. I love the build up. But I understand like how it's still Caleb Plant, And I've been very vocal. Caleb Plant hasn't shown me, and he could be an arrogant dude sometimes, in interviews. It's like, he ain't show me he can beat Canelo. So it's like, bro, you can't be mad if I say, yo, I think you're going to get beat the fuck up by Canelo. Like, you can't be mad at that. Like, sometimes these boxers be on some weirdo shit, man. Yeah, I'm trying to find a credible. So we got ESPN here. Let's pull this up. Man, Copinger over there now holding it down. Yeah, boxers be on some weird shit sometimes. It's like, bro, how you gonna be mad at people, thinking like you're gonna get beat up? It's not like you showing us anything against Caleb Truax or Subway Mike Lee. Let's go look at this. Better get out of here with that mess. All right. Let's see. By the way, it's supposed to happen September the 18th in Vegas. Here in $35 million guaranteed for 3 fights with the Zone and nearly $40 million for the rematch with Golovkin. This last 3 were promoted by Eddie Hearn. It's unclear if Hearn will be involved with the promotion on the fight. I doubt it. What would he need? What would he need Eddie Hearn for? But I do feel that he'll be working with Eddie Hearn long term in the future. But I don't Heyman to do some magic where he don't need, promoter. Like, why pay Eddie Hearn that fee? Doesn't make sense. It doesn't say here how much he's set to make. Where'd that $50 million rumor come from? Where'd that come from? I'm not clicking on nothing from the Sun. Errol Spence currently doesn't have a mandatory yet. Neither for the IBF or the WBC, from my understanding, but that's another video. Yeah, I think, listen, I think that it's going to fall on Sean Porter, because if you don't take the fight, then fans are going to be like, well, what the fuck are you doing? You're not doing nothing else? You know, and whatever fight he takes after that, if it's not a big fight, people are going to look at him funny. And there's a potential for him to get a nice solid payday with it not being on pay-per-view, but just regular ESPN, if ESPN chooses. Like they did with Loma versus Teofimo. But once again, Sean Porter, you know, is above, you know, Teofimo in marketing, in my opinion. So, you know, he deserves more. Like if they gave, what was the rumors of what they gave Amir Khan and what they gave Kell Brook? Sean Porter deserves more than both of them. I'm sorry. You do have to take into account he did lose his last fight, and that last fight in September would be, he fought Spence in September of 2019, wasn't it? You do have to take into account that he did lose his last fight. Be Canelo's biggest payday. Well, let's just go ahead and say it. They're going to be paying Caleb Plant for the belt. What has he shown you, or anything that you can comfortably say, yo, I think Caleb Plant can do it? If Billy Joe Saunders couldn't do nothing, believe it or not, I think Kenny Porter would take the fight. I don't think that, you know, I think this, that, you know, like these guys are PBC fighters, you know, and you got to treat, I've learned a long time ago to treat PBC kind of like the UFC. You know, like they're their own entity. They're their own. When they first came into boxing, that's what they wanted to be, and that's what they are. You know, they're their own organization. Now, if a fight's super big enough where it has to happen, something like, I mean, my God, look how hard things were on the Joshua Wilder side. That shit just was, on whoever's fault it was, it just was a fucking mess. You know, so I treat PBC as their own organization. You know, that they'll fight anything in-house. You know, unless something, you know, like I don't listen. Unless it like has to happen where it's like it's no other options. Like look what happened with Mayweather Pacquiao. It was like they couldn't keep going, and this was before PBC. They couldn't keep, you know, bullshitting around with that. The same thing's going to happen with Spence and Crawford. Like you can't keep bullshitting around with that. Wilder Fury. It was like either Joshua or Fury. They can't, you know. So when I hear rumors and shit, if you notice, I don't do fantasy matchup videos. Shit like, yo, Tank Davis versus Devin Haney, or Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia, because it's like, yo, that shit gonna be, you know, ain't happening. Like they're gonna find something in-house first. And that's how, and can you blame them? You know, if that's their model, like find something in-house first. If we can't find nothing in-house, then we got to look elsewhere. But for the most part, look, you would have never thought that you would see Tank Davis versus Mario Barrios 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Yeah, there was rumblings of the rumors that it would happen, which it did possibly about a year or so ago. And people were like, for real, what? And look, you know. Yeah, PBC was going to make their own belts. You know, things didn't go to plan. You know my personal opinion about PBC is? They fucked up the takeoff. Like a lot of the shit they're doing now, they should have been doing then. They put too much, from my understanding. And this is from very, 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 when, I can tell it now. When PBC first started, I was offered a job. What happened, I had a whole bunch of bullshit going on in my life. The head of digital, guy by the name of Scott Branson, something like that, contacted me. He was like, yo, you know, watch your content. You know, he was the head of digital over there. So, there's certain shit I can't say. The point I'm trying to make is, I started finding out shit, and not from him. And I started meeting people. This was around the time, if you noticed, who was following, I started going to more and more PBC events. So I started meeting people and talking to people, and turns out I started hearing that it was more the fighters and not Al Heyman or the PBC model. The fighters didn't want to fight each other. Al Heyman would come to you with like 4 names, and he'd say pick one of them, and the fighters would pick the least favorable name. And if you notice, when PBC first started, it was a lot of fights, but it was a lot of bullshit fights. Midday, and it was a lot of, remember that? It was press conferences and media events, all that shit every week. But the problem was, the fights was bullshit. You know, Robert Guerrero versus Aaron Alameda's, and not Alameda, Aaron Herrera's, and even though he almost put Robert Guerrero to sleep, they wasn't like full marquee matchups. You know, like, look at the fights that Showtime are putting on now. They wasn't putting on, you know, them type of fights.
Camman has just donated $5. You sicken me. The WBO is mandating Bud v Porter. Why aren't we hearing any serious talks about this fight? I don't understand what's mandatory and what's not.
Well, for one, Al Heyman fighters are known not to really talk about negotiations in public. And Sean Porter's an Al Heyman fighter. Also, something can be going on behind the scenes. You know, we don't know, because Al Heyman, Bob Arum, and he talks about it every now and then. You know, a lot more frequently. He'll say that him and him and Al Heyman talk every now and then about the possibilities, you know, of fights being made. But as it stands right now, we'll know something soon. Because if the fight goes to purse bid, anybody can bid on the fight. And that means if Top Rank, if PBC bids and wins, you know, Bud can be heading over to PBC. Matchroom can come in. Triller can come in. So it's either Porter's going to have to withdraw himself, or they got to come up with a deal, or it goes to purse bid. So yeah, going back to PBC, it was a lot of cards, but they wasn't meaning anything. And they wasn't for fights that were going anywhere. You know, so it was looking like they were trying to appeal to like channel surfers. You know, people changing the channel. Oh, boxing's on, seeing a knockout. Not giving a fuck who getting knocked out or why the guy's fighting him that shouldn't be fighting him. You see what I'm saying? And that kept happening. Like shit like Adonis Stevenson versus Saki Obika. It's like, okay, all right, I believe politics made that fight happen. I don't remember. But it was the fights wasn't marquee enough. And now look at the fights we're getting on PBC on paper, Fox pay-per-view. All of them has been good fights. PBC, their main events, they've been producing some good pay-per-views. You can't say that. But these fights were originally meant to be on free TV with major sponsors and things like that. So they blew a lot of money, man, on like shit that they didn't even need. So now that they're like doing good in regards to, you know, putting on, you know, good fights, not on Fox, not on free TV Fox, some shits be trash. But, you know, they fucked it up at the beginning. It's a damn shame. But yeah, you can't deny Showtime Showtime fights have been on fire. PBC on Fox, nah, only the pay-per-views. You know, it's something about them PBC on Fox fight. They just don't do it. And you got to think, Terrence Crawford is, what, about to be 34? 35? Like 34, 35? These fighters are getting up there. Yeah, if Porter withdraws, it's going to be a bad look. It's going to be a bad look. It's going to be a bad look. So anyway, as I was saying earlier, got some type of ear infection, can't hear out of my left ear. So I missed 2 cards on Friday. One was the bare knuckle fighting championship. Another was a WBC channel card. Going to be working with the WBC channel very, very, very soon. A press release is on the way. You know, I'm behind. I'm rebuilding my platform. All of this, what you're seeing, is probably going to be different within the next couple of weeks. And since we don't have any marquee matchups, like literally, boxing is dead, depending on how you count some of these fights that are coming up. But nothing real of note until August the 14th with Casemiro versus Rigondeaux for the WBO bantamweight title. It's not a unified fight. And then, of course, every week after that, it's going to be busy in boxing. Like busy. From De La Hoya versus Belfort, from Lopez versus Cambosos finally happening, possibly being on ESPN. Wilder versus Fury 3, Canelo versus Plant. September, October, starting from mid-August and on, boxing is going to be busy. So that's what I'm building for. So to make sure I can sit down, my schedule is free, sit down and do these videos and make this money. And, of course, talk to you guys and shit, Yeah, PBC can be frustrating sometimes, man. It can be real frustrating. But as I said, I don't really get in. If you noticed, I don't get into the motherfucking rumors and all that. This happened in sparring and, this person reacted to this and said this, all that back and forth. Like, for example, remember when it was cool on YouTube, about a year ago, to talk about Ryan Garcia, Teofimo, Devin Haney, Tank Davis. And look, we're over a year later and none of them ever fought each other yet. So it's like, what the fuck we talking about it for? I'm not with all that. Like, jerking these fighters off, on doing videos and promoting them and shit. And then they're not even fighting each other. Kiss my ass, man. I did that shit for years. Bro. For years. No way. And I'm really upset with Ryan Garcia and Jojo Diaz possibly fighting. It's like, yo, you mofos need to fight each other. Meaning Ryan Garcia, he should have to wait. Like that interim title, eliminated. Have Devin Haney and Jojo Diaz fight. The winner fight Ryan Garcia. Boom. So now WBC has 3 belts now. Like, come on, man. And I got a shield. Shit. Yeah. Joe Joyce, I don't know what he's going to do next. The heavyweight division is pretty top heavy, and there's only 2 champions, 4 belts. So, in my video yesterday, I predicted that Joe Joyce will probably get a title shot. It's looking like maybe late 2022. Unless the WBO gets dropped for the winner of Joshua versus Usyk to fight the winner of Fury versus Wilder. That winner can fight April of 2022 somewhere. And then there's no IBF mandatory right now. And then the WBO again would be next. And there's Dylan Weiss to WBC. But we don't know if the WBC is going to make the winner of Fury versus Wilder 3 the franchise champion. I don't mess around with talking about people's mental health issues. Like, I had people do that shit to me, calling me bipolar and all kind of crazy shit like that. So I don't fuck around with that. So if a fighter says that they have to take time off for mental health, you never know what they're going through. So yes, even if you're seeing them like posting pictures, I don't like that stigma, like what they put on mental health people, is that like when you're supposed to be sad that you can't be seen out in public and you're supposed to look sad. Like the Ryan Garcia thing. People were like, he ain't sad, he's out taking pictures with his girl and everything. It's like, yo, like, maybe the motherfucker's like, you know what, I'm feeling good today, we'll go get some sunlight. See what I'm saying? That shit's weak to me, man. Like, you're supposed to be always sad all the time and make sure you look sad in front of the cameras. Like, oh, shit, like, yo. So when it comes to his situation, it's like, okay, all right. You had some mental health issues, but you're saying you want to come back now. You got to wait. Like, you can get your title shot. It don't mean you have to get it immediately. You see what I'm saying? And that's one of the reasons why I just stopped fucking with social media. Like, I really just started getting back on social media about a month ago. Like, I was off of Instagram. I wasn't fucking with Twitter like that, and I wasn't on Facebook. Like, I gave up on that shit. I mean, I'm back now business purposes, but it's toxic. And then fans, because you got to think, no offense to you guys, but I don't know none of you motherfuckers in real life. So, certain fans can be so abusive to others on social media. Me, I've dealt with it for years, so that shit don't bother me. I'll get right back in there and start cussing at you back. And then start calling you all kind of crazy shit. But others, they're not as strong and thick-skinned, and social media stuff gets to them. Ryan Garcia does have a lot of pressure on him. And to be honest with you, I think Tank Davis would fuck him up real bad. I think Loma would outschool him, outclass him. Teofimo, listen, Teofimo did beat Loma. That's a huge, huge accomplishment. But I still got a question mark around Teofimo, yo. So him versus Ryan Garcia, yes, he's got the power, but Ryan Garcia can also box. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Instagram is different. They got IGTV. You can put, let me tell you how long I was going. Like, man, they got, Instagram is scary to me. I feel like I'm getting old, like old. They got like IGTV and all the different things you can click, and I don't know what none of that shit leads to. And everywhere you scroll, there's nothing but ass. Like, do women not have no shame these days? Everywhere you scroll, there's women just ass. Like, bro, get your lives together. I mean, I look, like, all right, nice ass. But I'm just thinking, like, damn, it's a lot of ass on here. Yeah, I'm not high on Ryan Garcia, man. I'm not high on him. But yeah, we talked about it earlier. I don't think that Tyson Fury had COVID, and if he did have COVID, that maybe like they was like, all right, listen, this fucking fight wasn't selling anyway, so let's just push this shit back. No, hey, listen, I dig it because you got men doing other shit on social media too, like frauding. So I dig it. Like it goes both ways. It goes both ways. I have been quiet about his COVID, Michael Cox, and you know what? People like you, I don't like answering guys like you's question because I've never seen you comment around here before, and all of a sudden you're just coming here asking me loaded questions. Motherfucker, I already talked about it. What the fuck you want me to say? Do you want me to do a whole hour-long video? Well, Tyson Fury, fake COVID. I think the shit is fishy. I've been said it, and I also did a stream on it a week and a half ago. It's just that y'all don't watch my streams. I talked about it in detail. Like, the shit's fishy. What you want me to do? Like, the fuck? What the fuck is want me to do? Yes, LDBC forever. I'm down. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not that person that just jumps on and just does a video, I didn't look at the ticket sales, but it's clear. Like, bro, I've been covering this shit for a long time. You know how many fights I've seen get postponed to cancel, Frank Warren? Like, it's clear. Like, all of a sudden, COVID, that's the new excuse right now. I didn't want to believe the shit, but maybe he did. Or maybe he didn't want to say that he wasn't vaccinated, but clearly something was wrong. Like, it wasn't really no buzz around the fight. And it's hard to get, like remember, I hate to keep it real with you guys, but Deontay Wilder did a lot of damage in mainstream media to his name, bro. He got beat the fuck up in the second fight. And then he made all those excuses. So let me tell you something. On YouTube, that's the bubble. Outside of YouTube, people are like, oh yeah, that's a fighter, keep making all the excuses. Like, y'all need to wake the fuck up. Like, Wilder don't get no love from people out here. Y'all need to wake the fuck up. Y'all watching too many of these YouTube videos, and y'all think that it's bigger outside of YouTube. It's not. Like, every network, they not hearing that glove shit. He fucked up a lot of his appeal with that. Like, he should have just took his L and shut the fuck up. And then for him not, the press conference doing 2 million views doesn't mean shit. Okay, Michael Cox, I don't know you, so therefore I'm not answering any more of your questions. Like, because just because a press conference do some shit don't mean that motherfucker's not going to stream the fight. Like, you motherfuckers are delusional. Pay-per-view is dying, bro. Like, and then you can't come out with these outrageous ticket prices. Like, at the beginning of opening back up when things could possibly shut back down again. So they needed to go back and recoup. And, you know, possibly sell this fight off of the NFL, which, you know, they'll do. Sell this fight off of WWE. Sell this fight off of... And next month, after Canelo versus Plant, we have Wilder Fury versus Wilder 3. No, don't ban Cox. You just need to shut the fuck up. Stop being a hoe. But y'all got to ban him, though. Coming in here with these motherfucking bullshit stats. No, they milking Ryan Garcia because they don't have Canelo. Talk about the real shit. They milking Ryan Garcia because they don't have Canelo and they don't want him taking his first loss right now, especially if he's mentally fragile. Like, I've been covering boxing and seeing all this bullshit for many, many, many years now, and I'm sorry if I'm a little irritable, untethered. My whole side of my face is in extreme pain. I got an ear infection of some sort. Damn. Well, HR had to talk. They talked about you. HR made the call, Michael Cox. They made the call. We've been getting complaints of deviancy. Been getting complaints about you, man. And then there's so many pay-per-views now, bro. So many pay-per-views. But yeah, anyway. Joe Joyce beat up Carlos Takam yesterday. I kind of thought it was an early stoppage, but at the same time, he was like backing up, getting punched in the face. No, you shut up, Michael Cox. You shut up. We're sick of you here. You've been disrupting all morning. We're tired of you. See, I got a lot of shit on my plate. A lot of shit on my plate, man. Hey, let's go look at the boxing schedule while we're here. From Dan Rayfield's Fight Freaks Unite. I like heel Rayfield. He's much more free. Let's see what we got here. Look at this boxing schedule. This is pathetic. Look, this is it. This is pathetic. Well, we got Conor Benn versus Adrian Granados. You know, we got the, you know. All right. That tickles me fancy a little bit. All right. And you can. Versus Lee Wood. All right. You know what? All right. You know, Campbell Hatton. He at risk of getting beat up. Okay. All right. Next week's fight camp card. Okay, this has my attention. All right, this has my attention. Ooh, Avni Yildirim returns. Turkish Whip Blood. Okay, listen. All right, we back. So, how y'all feel about this card? Y'all watching this shit? Conor Benn versus Adrian Granados. Conju versus Lee Wood. Tommy McCarthy versus Chris Bottom Smith. For McCarthy's European, Bottom Smith's Commonwealth and vacant British Cruiserweight title. Y'all watching that shit? The domestic clash? What about Jack Cullen versus Avni Yildirim? Avni Yildirim's first fight back after shitting the bed against Canelo. He shit the bed bad too. Messed up the whole motherfucking mattress, everything. And Fowler versus Roberto Garcia. And then Campbell Hatton. The son of Ricky Hatton, who looked like shit in his first fight. You want to watch that? And then on PBC on Fox, I almost went to this fight too. And I said, you know what? I'm not driving all the way the hell out there for this shit. No offense, man. I was like, I am not driving all the way out there to some dangerous ass Newark on no motherfucking Saturday night to no Michael Coffey versus Gerald Washington. PBC on Fox. All right, you know what? I'm a degenerate. And since I was sick this weekend, I'm going to cover these fights. I'm going to cover them. So next Saturday, the fights that I'm interested in are Conor Benn versus Granados, Zhu Khan versus Lee Wood, Tommy McCarthy versus Chris Bottom-Smith. You can, listen, hey, bros, I can't really bang with you. But you know what I'll do? I'll cover this shit, though. I will cover this. And, Campbell Hatton, he for the views. He for the YouTube revenue. We're going to cover him. He bringing the views. And then this right here, I don't know. I might be in bed. I got to be honest with you. Early Saturday night for me. PBC on Fox. I don't know. I might. Oh, and Joey Spencer fighting Dan Carpensy of the Brothers Carpensy. James Martin, Vito Malnicki Jr., PBC on Fox. August the 3rd. This is a rap card, by the way. It has the Locks versus Dipset in the Hulu Theater on Triller pay-per-view. And I think that shit's like $50, bro. Michael Hunter versus Mike Wilson. Chris Algieri return versus Mikel Lespierre. And that's pretty much all I care about. That's on Triller. Okay, let's go check that out. I'm going to show you how much that motherfucking card costs. They tripping for that. Watch this right here.
How dare you!
Oh, God.
Boxing Logics United has just donated $5. You sicken me. Hashtag peace and pugilism. Boxing PPV is dying. UFC PPV is doing great. These boxers need to compete with more heart and give fans something to remember.
Yeah, it is. It's no storyline. This is free. Oh, hell yeah. I thought they was charging for that, but it says free. All right, we cool. All right, we on that. Mick Collin versus TJ Doheny. And then, of course, you got, the August 7th card. Kid Galahad, Jazza Dickens, Fabio Wortley, Nick Webb, Fleury Marco versus Maxime Prodan, Alan Bobick, Mark Bennett, Ebony Bridges versus Beck Connolly. Ooh, this right here. This is high seduction right here. This is erotica. Boxing erotica right here. Let me tell you, that Beck Connolly, bro. That's some. Let me stop being a thirsty ass fuckboy. But yeah, this right here. This is gonna be some erotica. It's a lot of tattoos. A lot of tattoos. And shapely women. How about that? Very classy way to say it. Austin, no doubt, Fish Trout. He back fighting in Dubai, nonetheless. And Mike Perez, what the hell? Anthony Sims Jr. Oh, this is just a Lucas Brown. What the hell? This is a wacky ass card. So you got Austin Trout, yes, that Mike Perez, Lucas Brown, and Anthony Sims Jr. on the same card. Bizarre. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, Donnell, I almost went to that Cobble Supply for that card too. Cobble Supply. I think that's probably gonna be everybody thinking like, I might go. Now, August the 14th. Very seductive day. That's when shit really picks up. Virgil Ortiz versus Aglidas Kavalovskis. Roger Gutierrez versus Rene Alvarado. Felix Alvarado versus Eric Lopez. Pablo Cesar Cano returns. Then you have John Rio Casimiro on Showtime versus Rigondeaux. Antonio Russell, I like that he did that. Versus Manny Rodriguez. Rasheed Warren versus Damian Vasquez. Then also, so basically on 3 different networks, bro. See, look, we got all these bullshit fights until August the 14th. But then on August the 14th, we got a significant card on the zone with Ortiz versus Kavaliauskas. On Showtime with Casemiro versus Rigondeaux. And then on ESPN with the twin brothers Maloney and Arnold Barboza, Nico Ali Walsh, Carlos Balderas' debut, and then Joshua Buatsi, then Savannah Marshall and Shannon Cortinet. Bro, this is what pisses me off. It's like you put all these cards on the same day. You couldn't have one the week before or 2 weeks before. That's what gets me untethered. So now, but actually, it's going to be a pretty busy day. Going to make a lot of money. But the point is, it's like, yo, why we gotta be like this? So of course, you got to cover Ortiz versus Kavaliauskas. You got to cover Casemiro versus Rigondeaux, because the Filipinos going to be in full force, and them motherfuckers wreak havoc when they show up. The brothers Maloney, Arnold Barboza, got to cover him. Joshua Buatsi, Savannah Marshall, Shannon Cortinet, Tasha Jonas. Ooh, that's nice. That's nice. Come on, man. And then, of course, August the 21st, Pacquiao versus Spence. And Ugas versus Berto, even though Berto keep trying to deny it. We know it's you. Come on, man. I'm tired of this crap. Shannon Cortinet pulled out of her fight? Damn. Well, it looks like I'm going to be here in the house on the 14th, working my ass off. Sorry about the lag. I've been revamping things around here. It's a lot of shit going on. Lost 20 pounds. I guess I needed to lose that weight. I was getting fat as shit, man. Just eating anything in sight. Pussy and all. Not all pussy. Anyway. Let me stop. It's just a Sunday service. It's the Sunday service. And here I am, sinning. I'm going to get my life together. If Porter versus Bud were to happen, I'm going to bet on November. Because we already got a pay-per-view, if it were to be pay-per-view. In August, Pacquiao versus Spence. September, Canelo versus Plant. October, Fury versus Wilder 3. So my bet would be, and then there's supposed to be something for Top Rank. They wanted to do Loma versus Lopez versus Loma 2 in December. So it only leaves November. You know. Cussing up a storm on a Sunday service. I think I'm going to take it back old school. Make some turkey necks or something. After church, after the Sunday service. Ugh, Christ. Yeah, but that's not going to be pay-per-view, though. I like Herring versus Shakur. And I've learned to never bet against, not that I gambled anyway, but not to pick against Jamel Herring. He keeps surprising me. It's going to be a very good fight. Very good fight. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I mean, look, the boxing schedule this week and next week is lackluster. Like, so I'm going to be working on other things behind the scenes, like getting some damn interviews on this channel. We can expect for some press conferences to be coming up soon. We can expect for the Canelo versus Plant press conference. That can literally be this week. Don't be surprised if that press conference is not this week. What else? Lopez versus Camboso's news should be coming out. And then Joshua versus Usyk press conference could also be this week. I wouldn't be surprised if I get an email later on today saying that shit's going to be tomorrow morning or Tuesday morning. I watched the whole, I think it was like 32. How many matches was it the other day? I watched the Olympic fights the other day, and just so happens I missed the big ones yesterday. I had to go to bed early. I was trying to cover UFC, and I was trying to do some videos, but, you know, I've been in, like, pain. So, once again, I don't mean to keep, you know, complaining, but I got an ear infection, and that's why it probably seems like I'm yelling. Like, oh, I can't hear out of my left ear, and everything's all messed up on this side. So if it keeps up, I'm going to have to take my ass to the doctor tomorrow because it's a very aggravating feeling, and I've never had an ear infection before in my life. So it feels like it's something constantly in. It's horrible, horrible. Horrible. And yeah, I'm going to go from there. I would love to interview Chavez Jr. Maybe we can do drugs together. Thanks, Justin. Yeah, can you imagine hanging out like a night with Chavez Jr.? Him dressing up like a bitch or something? Smoking, getting into crazy adventures? Maybe some hookers? You know, he got bad luck, though. He'll have some hookers. They probably try to steal all our shit. I'm not putting no olive oil in my damn ear. It might have a burst eardrum. No, but it's annoying. It's annoying as fuck. You know, I did mushrooms before. I did mushrooms and LSD one time in a cabin in the Poconos with some white folks. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I ended up throwing darts non-stop in a cold cabin, like shed, in the middle of the woods for like 6 hours straight. Just boom, boom. Weird. I didn't like trip out though. I wasn't like seeing, I just was like super focused. And ended up talking to a woman on the phone for like 3 hours. Somebody I met like 3 days before. Had sex like the next day. Weird. Crazy adventures, man. Hell no, I would never fall asleep around Chavez Jr. Yeah, I did mushrooms. This was back in 2010. Yup, I didn't trip out. I just kept playing darts. And like everything felt like floaty, if that makes sense. Maybe there were some bad shrooms. Or maybe I didn't take enough. Who knows? But yeah, not something that I would do, you know, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pop these shrooms. I don't even know where to get them from. Now I'm just strictly medicinal marijuana, baby. But I could never understand how people could put like stuff up their nose. Like that shit, the sting. Like I once went to a no bullshit. We were at a conference in college. You know, one of the type of conference. I'm not gonna say what conference it was, but it's like one of them like after college conferences where we went for the whole weekend and nothing but seminars all day, every day. So on the very first night we're out, my roommate was a white guy. Very first night, we're like, all right, let's go down to Old City, go get some drinks or something. I forgot where we were. We in some type of bar. We're about 24, 25. We're in some type of bar. He disappeared. And I'm like, where he go? So he come out all like fucked up looking. And I'm like, where you go? He was like, I just did a lot of coke in the bathroom. Like, whoa, bro. Whoa. But like, man, you never know, man. You ever hear about how like the rumors of how like the white kids be high as shit in college? And in school, they be high as shit, bro. Like, bro. It's like, how you just go off and do cocaine with a stranger? Like, bro. Weird. Like, I was looking like, and he just was like looking all fucked up. But I don't know. I could never put stuff up my nose. I always think about that time when I was real young and I jumped in the pool without holding my nose and the water just shot up. That's how I always think that putting up something up your nose feel. So I had to have sinus surgery. What am I talking about? Hey, talk about some boxing. I would think De La Hoya would have the better nose candy. I would think it would be him. Yeah, but they do be high as shit though, yo. Bro. And they just be succeeding. They're like, what the fuck? Like, why can't our black folks be high and doing all that shit and still succeed? Some of them do. But then you'll have somebody like, who was the mayor from DC that was like caught smoking crack? You'll have somebody like him. No, I can deal with the horseradish joint, like the wasabi burn, but like that water up your nose. I do not like nothing up my nose, man. Like when I was in a coma, I woke up and they had like this big long ass tube like in my nose and it went all the way down. So when they pulled that out, so imagine a long ass tube up in your nose and it curls all the way down. Flashbacks. Let's not talk about that. Marion Barry. Motherfucker was smoking crack with some hookers. Motherfucker. People are crazy. And then he'll be doing interviews like cracked out. People are crazy, yo. People are crazy as shit. No, I'm scared of Mexico. One false move, they kidnap your ass, cut your dick off, and stick it in your mouth, and then put you in like an oil drum, and then cook you, make you soup. No way. Or they decapitate you. No way, man. No way. No way. I don't want those problems in my life. Because knowing my ass, I'm always in some fucking stupid ass mission or something, or some adventure that I wanted no part of. So Mexico is just not the place for me. Just like Vegas. There's just certain places T-Street has no business going. You know, you won't catch me going to motherfucking Amsterdam. You know, nope. Nope. Last things I need in my life. I can barely go to Philly without getting into an adventure. No. I'm cool. No way. Oh, I got my GoPro. Y'all want to see all my gadgets and shit? All right, I'm going to show y'all before we go. Let's see all my gadgets. I just got my little case yesterday. So I got a GoPro, and I got like the helmet shit, and like the little body. So now I'm legit. Like paparazzi now. Check all this shit out. This is like to put my camera right here on my chest and shit. Yeah, man. We're about to hit the streets. So as soon as I learn how to work all this stuff, we're going to be doing, going to events, doing like, the whole 4K thing. I did learn how to use Adobe Premiere Pro the last couple of months. So we're doing good. We're doing good. So yeah, we've been making some advancements, man. We're taking this shit seriously. We're taking it seriously. Yeah, Philadelphia is a war zone, bro. Like a war zone. Like, and it's just starting to come out to the suburbs a little bit. Like, it's weird, man. Like, and these kids are just killing each other over just the dumbest of shit. Like, just dumb shit. Like, when they say on site. I remember growing up, I always had the mentality of any hesitation will get you killed and take no threat lightly. So that was a big thing during, you know, my troubled years, where I was always taught stuff like never let anybody leave the club before you. You get into an argument with somebody, yo, that's it, party's over, we all out of here. Because you can, like, say for example, some dumb shit, you step on somebody's shoes, and you'll get into a little argument, like, yo, whatever, like, all right, don't worry about that, you on some bitch ass shit. You go back partying and everything, he looking like, yo, this motherfucker stepped on my shoes. All right, why? Tells one of his homies, stay right here, I'm gonna go outside. You know, watch him, call my phone, you know, tell me when he leaving out. So you partying, bullshitting around and everything, that man mad, and he waiting for you and blow your fucking brains out. So you'd be surprised like how these kids get into so much dumb shit out here, you know, over like just the dumbest of shit, that when they grow up and when they're in prison, they're gonna think like, damn, that was some really stupid ass shit. You know, or Instagram beefs. You know, where you have kids now, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, whatever, killing motherfuckers on Instagram live, like, yeah, this pussy ain't so funny now. Like, bro, you're never going to see a PlayStation 6. Like, you're never going to see a PlayStation 15. You'll see it on TV maybe, but like, you're going away for the rest of your life. Like, niggas, they be dumb. And it starts in the home. And I don't talk about it as much as I used to, because I got something, you know, I've been keeping real close to the chest, as you can see. You know, I'm starting a nonprofit called Fathers Against Abuse. .org. I own both of the domains, fathersagainstabuse.com and fathersagainstabuse.org. So right now, there's a lot going on. As you can see, I don't talk about my custody case no more. There's a lot going on, you know, and there's a lot of lawyers and moving parts. So what I'm saying is this. A lot of this stuff, it starts in the home. Your kids are not your friends. You know, those mothers that had the kids when they were in their 20s in 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, those are the ones out here killing each motherfuckers now. Oh, they just try to cut me off? I was going to say, those are the ones out here killing each other now. You know, when you got the grandmothers who are 38 and 39, you know? Like, it's bad. Like, literally, you can see the videos online where you'll have, like, somebody standing in the Chinese store, you know, ordering some food, somebody coming with a mask, empty a whole clip on them, and you just see just the blood just spreading. Like, bro. So that's why I be like, listen, you know, I don't, like, it's a gift and a curse that I do have, like, that fucked up street experience, but it's certain places I don't go. It's certain things like I always have to look out for. I'm always driving in my rear view, which people don't do these days for some reason. You know, people just go places that just be too lax. For example, Cheesesteak Vegas here outside of Philadelphia, or in Philadelphia. It's where, you know, the tourists go to get the cheesesteaks, Pat's, Geno's, all those places down South Philly. Somebody got murdered right there, and then there was a shooting there last year. Like, you can't go nowhere now. You know, and then you go to, you know, a high-class restaurant, you got people in there frauding, don't have enough money to sit in there, and they just sitting in there, and sometimes, you know, they're shooting on the outside of the gym. You can't go nowhere. You can't go nowhere. Like, you can't go nowhere, like, for real. Like, you can't go nowhere. You know, and like I said, look at our young women on in the world today. It's either they're fucking dickheads, too fucking smart and too fucking woke to actually see what's going on, or you got the ones that are just trying to find an easy way to make the quick buck, like selling their bodies and on Instagram and OnlyFans. So you got our young men who are out here killing each other, and you got our women who think that, you know, they're just going to have some Prince Charming nigga show up and take care of them until they get married, you know, and because they lose, it's just a mess. It's a mess. Pat's or Geno's, who's best? Pat's. Like, Pat's, you're going to get what a cheesesteak is supposed to be, but to me, all of them are trash. You know, the Philadelphia cheesesteak is not supposed to be healthy looking. It's what you're going to get from a place called Max's. It's nasty looking, like, meaning like slimy grease, like, yo, like grease, Like, yo, that's a cheesesteak. That shit you did get down in Geno's and all them places is, you know. And anybody from Philly will tell you that. They're like, yo, you don't get. And I'm still mad at Tevin Farmer for getting John O'Carroll that bullshit cheesesteak. But then Tevin Farmer's been on my shit list for some time now. You always got to stay alert. You know, I've always, you know, had issues with people who just walk around like the world is just everywhere I go. I know the entrances. You know, I do admit it's, you know, I trust you guys, even though I don't know you from a can of pain. I probably don't trust you, but I'm just telling you shit. I'm in therapy for post-traumatic stress disorder. So I've been hyper aware for about a good 15 years now. I'm always looking and watching everybody. You know, I know where all the entrances are, that kind of stuff. I constantly like paranoid to a certain extent. But with good reason. You know, I've had, you know, false criminal charges, life support, coma. Somebody tried to blow my head off before. I've been stabbed. So, yeah, you know, fucked up. But I just, you know, I think we should raise our children, you know, and you yourself, like, yo, don't take shit for granted, man. You never know who's going through what, or, you know, people are crazy out here. And these kids, they will kill you for nothing. So anytime I see like a young boy, listen, I don't get involved with them. If I see a store and there's kids hanging outside, there's a very good chance one of them have a gun. I don't hang around with friends who hang around with friends that I don't know out in public places, because we have a lot of drive-by shootings now. I don't know what beef you and this new nigga got. So I don't want to be out here with you motherfuckers and like somebody coming to shoot him up. I'm fat and old and slow now, so I get shot. You see what I'm saying? And it's a shame it's got to be like that. You know, people be owing people money. They're getting killed over that. And, you know, all kind of shit. Women, that's a big thing too. Like all day on the news, especially in Philly, that shit's always going on. I do not play with that. Like, you don't want to be involved like in somebody else's motherfucking beef and get your ass shot up. It's not funny, but that happens. It's happening a lot. And especially, you know, for people, you can't talk to these kids. You can't. They know every fucking thing. And then what happens, and I've seen it happen before, they go to court and they cry. They cry. And it's like, yo, you're not getting no, like, you ain't getting out. And even if you are out on bail, you know, you're out on bail now, but when you go back to court, like, yo, they shipping you away, bro. Crazy. Fuck out of here. No way. But yeah, man, enough about that. We got to put it this way. I have to work this week. So if y'all care, I expect, we will know Joshua and Usyk are going to have a press conference. It's probably going to be this week. It's probably going to be this week, and Canelo Plant probably going to have a press conference too. I'm interested to see if Eddie Hearn's going to be there, because as I was saying earlier in the video, I don't expect for Eddie Hearn to be promoting this fight. It's no need. You see what I'm saying? Why would Canelo pay him that fee when PBC can just take, you know, care of everything? But I do feel that Canelo will be working with Eddie Hearn in the future unless PBC is able to poach him away with this fight right here. But, you know, that's all speculation. We don't really, you know, like, know. In regards to Fury versus Wilder, I already said it. Listen, I'm not, y'all used to motherfuckers being on YouTube and going with narratives and shit. I literally don't give a fuck who wins, Fury or Wilder. Because if one of them get knocked the fuck out, I'm still going to be on here getting 50 to 100,000 views. And if it is some controversy, we still get more views. But do I think there's some fishiness going on with the Tyson Fury COVID? Of course. The fucking fight wasn't selling, bro. So, listen to this. Listen to this. Fury side, they're the A side for this event. They're all the promotional. Everything was 50-50 for the first one. But now they're the ones in charge of the date, the venue, all of that. So somewhere on their side, whether it was Top Rank, MTK, or Fury, they were like, listen, you know, but all the shit about Fury being scared, maybe he was getting touched up in camp. But I think it all boils down to money. And the word to Titty Atlas, follow the money. I think that they wanted to reset and be like, hold up, this shit ain't trending well. Tickets ain't selling. Let's back this shit up. You know, and put it in October. Then we can sell it off of the NFL, off of the WWE. People are going to be in the house because, you know, people are people are actually getting out. Like, you know, the world just opened back up. And then they'll be able to sell it off of the back of Canelo versus Caleb Plant. So, you know, that's supposed to take place, September the 18th? And then they'll be like, and, you know, next month on PBC on Fox pay-per-view, Wilder versus Fury. So I think they really wanted to dial it back. And I would say expect for promotion to like really start ramping up around like football season, which is when is September, first week September, something like that. I think it was slow ticket sales, and also Fury fans can't come over. Like that, listen, and you know what? That's what fucks me up on here because motherfuckers thought I was gonna come on here and start sucking Tyson Fury cock. I gotta stop saying cock. You know, it's like, yo, it's clear as fucking day. I'm not going to come up here like, well, you know, motherfucker, you know, Tyson Fury, you know, Jesus, you know, he, you know, mental health. Why would he lie? Motherfucker, get out of here. Yeah, they're going to sell it off the NFL. And that's probably where that Canelo Plant money coming from, too. They're going to get extra sponsorships. Just saying, they're going to sell that shit off the NFL. It's clear. So you think I wasn't pissed when motherfucking Tyson... Let me tell you something. When I cover pay-per-view fights, I go hard on them. I'm talking about... I'm doing fucking videos on the build-up content. I already started covering inside Fury versus Wilder 3, press conferences, virtual calls. So he fucked my money up too. Tonight, I should have been at least 3,000 subscribers more, maybe. Maybe a few 100,000 views by now. Who knows? 500,000. Spread across all the videos I would have done up to this point. So my pockets got fucked up. And y'all think I'm going to sit up here and make excuses for the motherfucker? Shit. But you know, shit happens. So we lost money. In fact, let me see something real quick. By the way, I'm gonna put this link down below in the I'm gonna put it in the chat. If y'all need the boxing schedule, Dan Rayfield has the best boxing schedule on the internet. Like for real. He has the best. Oh God, Greta.
Drew has just donated $4.99. You sicken me. T-That trilogy fight has no buzz from casuals. But him pumped for AJ Usyk. Flying to London from LA for that.
Is the UK open back up for people to travel? I'm not going nowhere if they say I gotta get fucking vaccinated. But I'm gonna just leave that one alone. Yeah, the fight was gonna be last night. Like, I'm supposed to be like, you know, like looking at my reading comments and cussing people out and shit. You know? Like, it was too much writing on the wall, bro.
How dare you?
And then the
Olympics
Olympics
has just donated $2. You sicken me. Hope they have the same card. Great night for heavies.
Yeah, it's still the same card. It's going to be, of course, Fury versus Wilder 3, Robert Helenius versus Adam Kownacki 2, Efe Ajagba versus Frank Sánchez, and Gerald Big Baby Anderson versus Vladimir Tereshkin. And then also, it's looking like they're adding Edgar Berlanga onto the card. And the TBA gets it in an 8-rounder. So I like the card. On the undercard, I'm most interested in Efe Ajagba versus Frank Sánchez. And then second, Robert Helenius versus Adam Kownacki. And I am 50-50 on Fury versus Wilder 3. I'm not confident to say that Fury going to beat him in this fight. You know, now I think he can outbox him, but still, Deontay Wilder said it many times, all he needs is one shot. Like, I'm not confident. It's certain fights I don't feel confident. I don't feel comfortable saying that Tyson Fury going to win. I don't feel comfortable. So I'm like 50-50. We can't forget what Tyson Fury did to and you know what? Guess what? I was supposed to show y'all this video. And I didn't do it. The Tyson Fury versus Vladimir Klitschko press conferences. I was extremely upset about that for the rematch. You know, we can't say that Tyson Fury don't have, you know, a history of bullshitting. We can't say that the drug testing shit with the wild boar meat is not there. I've talked about this stuff, but the fact that I'm not pushing it and doing individual videos and just, you know, I get shit for it. But that shit been there. You know, the nose clams. Cocaine that he was, you know, like putting up his nose. Some people say that's how he lost his voice. It's a shame bullshit with Tyson Fury, Billy Joe. All these guys try to find a way to cheat black fighters. I don't know. You know, and another thing I've said in multiple videos now, I have a high amount of respect for Al Heyman. I consider him one of the most, you know, I've said it, people call me crazy, but I consider him one of the most powerful people in, you know, in the entertainment world and in boxing. So to think that a lot of all this stuff went on under his nose, it's hard for me to believe, bro. Like, Al Heyman is a powerful dude. Oh no, I think Fury is a great boxer. Fury is nice, bro. I seen him. Listen, I've been covering him since 2011. All of his fights on YouTube. I've covered them live and in real time. Like, are you hearing me? 10 years ago, I was covering Tyson Fury fights before anybody in the States was talking about him. You know, he once beat the shit out of Derek Chisora, southpaw, left hand. Bro, dude is nice. Like, dude is nice. I'm sorry, you can't take that away from me. Like, dude can box his ass off, bro. But, you know, you're entitled to your opinion. The people. But that's not saying he can't get his ass knocked out. Hell, he almost knocked himself out with an uppercut to the face. But Tyson Fury is most vulnerable when he plays around like he did in the first Wilder fight. And Steve Cunningham floored him. It's hard to say Wilder's chinny. I think Wilder more like, it's fundamental for Wilder. But I do think that, and from the clips I've seen, I do think Malik Scott can help Deontay Wilder make some changes. But at the same time, Deontay Wilder is a 35-year-old man. There's only but so much you can change at his age. And what's going to happen when he gets into the ring and gets hit? You know, will all that shit he learned go away? Well, Tyson Fury is not like a knockout puncher, but, you know, like he can beat you up and stop you off of activity. Like, he's never been a one-punch guy, and I don't understand why people are saying, where did he get this one-punch power from? Like, you know, like Deontay Wilder wasn't knocked out. He just was getting beat up. Fury ducked Wilder. He didn't duck him. The fights happened in October. He didn't duck him. The fights happened in October. But do you blame Fury or do you blame the promoters or the handlers? But then again, he's the fall guy. Like I said, when I said that COVID shit, I was like, motherfucker, I'm just like you. Who would believe that? And I'm ashamed, and I feel greatly disrespected. You guys hurt my feelings that y'all thought I was going to come on here and motherfucker make up excuses for that motherfucker. I'm thinking like, damn, and I'm reading the comments. They're like, we can't wait to see what the excuses T Street make up. Like, bro, it's all there. And the first thing that I really thought was like, the fucking fight's not selling. That's the first thing that came to my mind, is that the fight's not selling. Because at that point, the fight was about 3-4 weeks away. I forgot when, about 3 weeks away. And I was like, where is like that real buzz? You know? Luis Ortiz got to come back soon, but against who? Them PBC fighters, it's time they got to fight each other now. You think Luis Ortiz, Andy Ruiz, boom. I don't want to see Luis Ortiz fucking Chris Arreola. PBC would do some shit like that. It did seem rushed. It was like rushed. And then the big red flag is Fury's fans couldn't come over. They were counting on those fans, yo. Those are the people that they can sell those, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 tickets to. But that shit right there was the big red flag. So I think it was a collective effort between Top Rank, MTK, and Fury, in my opinion. I think they came up with some shit and was like, we got to push this shit back. And it doesn't help that Bob Barham's going around laughing his ass off about shit, especially when it came, oh my bad, camera's all shaky, especially when it came to Tiafimo and George Kambosos, which has a possibility to end up on ESPN, by the way. Yeah, that's what I did. I watched the Joe Joyce fight, and I just, I was like, you know what? Take these painkillers, take my ass to sleep. Well, listen, guys, gotta get up out of here. As I said, I expect for it to be some press conferences this week with Canelo and Plant and Joshua versus Usyk. If not this week, definitely probably the beginning of August. So not a real busy week, but we got Conor Ben versus Adrian Granados. That's going to be this weekend.